Look, thank you very, very much for holding the fort for me, Ben, back at base. But we've got some important work to do here. So all day today, I've been pounding the pavements here in Stanley in County Durham, talking to people in places like Keir Hardie Way, Lenin Terrace, you know, traditional, you would imagine, like Labour heartlands, in a sense. I wanted to find out what they made of the winter fuel payment being cut, because I think there is a burning injustice going on in society at the moment. So later on in the show, we're going to be hearing from people who were kind enough to let me into their own homes to tell me what their real-life situation is. But as you can see, I am at the wonderful Stanley Indoor Bowl Centre and Community Hub here. Absolutely fantastic setting. We have got a little bit of an audience for us as well. Might introduce them to you later on. But right now I'm surrounded by some lovely people. And I'm going to start with Gail, who has ducked out of trying to teach me bowls later. More of that at 9:30, by the way. I have said that I am unteachable. But anyway. Now, Gail, you feel like pensioners are under attack a bit, don't you, I think?
I do, very much so. And I really believe that if the pensioners knew when they voted what was going to happen, I don't think Labour would have got in. It seems to me that if you work all your life and you work hard and you save and everything else, it doesn't pay you to do that anymore. You get nothing, you get everything taken off you. If they'd said they were going to half it, that wouldn't have been quite so bad. But it's a big blow to people to suddenly have £200, £300 taken off them in one fell swoop. When, you know, they just seem to be hitting on people who really can't fight back. They're too old to fight back, and I just think it's very, very unfair.
Well, I think that's the word. It's unfair. Now, I'm going to bring you in, Brian, because what Gail said there is, yeah, people might not have voted for this, and I think that's true. And look, I think we can all agree that there are some people that don't need the winter fuel payment, but there are a lot of people who do. Do you think more should be done to help needy pensioners?
Well, as an octogenarian, I've been through a lot in life. I started life in poverty with my own family, and we've always struggled. But thankfully, we've made our way through, perseverance, and we're reasonably comfortable. But there are many, many people out there, particularly in the northeast and other deprived areas, who are very needy of help from the government. This winter fuel allowance is one of them, and there are other benefits and allowances which should be made more readily available to those people. One of the problems is finding the levels at which the payments should be and the levels at which they are entitled to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are many, if I say hangers-on, people who've had it and wasted it and now expect the government to look after them. It knocks a lot of people.
Yeah.
But generally, those who need it should have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, speaking as somebody who's 32 years old, that I owe, and my generation, the generation that's younger than me, owes everything to the people who've come before. And I think it's a real disgrace that in this country we don't seem to value people who are maybe a bit later in life, who have put into the system all their lives, who have helped pay for the system that I have been able to enjoy. And that is something that I feel very, very deeply. But Aidan, I just want to bring you in here because you're the vice chairman of this wonderful establishment. Yep. So thank you very much for having us, by the way. And you made a great point to me before. I mean, this is a bit of a disgrace, the winter fuel payment cut, and it could have knock-on effects, couldn't it?
Yeah, because basically people who come and play here are of an older age, and they maybe find themselves where they have to, you know, choose between putting the heating on and playing bowls, which obviously we don't want. It's bad for our business. It's bad for everyone. You know, I'm dead against it. I'm close to pension age myself. I've still got a few years left, but obviously people like save for pensions. They don't expect to be penalised later on in life because they've saved. You know, people need to be treated fairly, and people need to be treated honestly. You know, what you were saying earlier about possibly raising the cap, putting it at a level which is like a fair level. I would agree more with that.
Yeah.
But, you know...
The funny thing is, as well, I was talking to someone else earlier on, and that I believe they used to get coal from right underneath where we're sitting now. Yeah. And when you think about that versus what the energy bills for this place are now, every single month
Yeah.
is ridiculous, and that is just a visible sign, I think, of where we are, and potentially how ideology has allowed people to slip through the cracks. I mean, you think you could be drilling for coal right below our feet here. Instead, somewhere like this is now having to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds a month just to keep the lights on, and a lot of the people who use it are going to really, really struggle this winter. It just seems like something has gone quite badly wrong. But can I just say a massive thank you for kickstarting the show with me tonight, and I know that a little bit later on I'm going to be trying and failing to play some bowls. So I know I can see a bit of laughter out there now. I don't know who's going to volunteer how to teach me, but for now, Ben, it's back to you in the studio. But we're going to be having a lot more to say here.
Patrick, thank you. Great stuff. And look, I have to say, sterling work, because we see the headlines, we always see the numbers thrown around and the statistics, but actually you're giving us a glimpse into the human stories behind this policy. And I have to say, it's heartwarming. Let's get the thoughts of my panel now. Reem, let's do it.
That's the surname.
Let's do it like a football score. We've got Armstrong.
Well, that's good, because there is two Alexes here on the panel.
It's true.
This might work quite well.
All right, we've set the tone now. Reem, what's you are in favour, of this policy, aren't you? You think this is a good thing?
I am, yes. Now, I think that what Patrick is doing is absolutely brilliant, and I really, really do respect it. However, when we're thinking about public spending and we're thinking about the way in which we distribute different types of benefits, which is what it is a benefit, pensioners are some of the most wealthy people in the country. 25% of them are millionaires. We should not be giving them benefits.
Hang on. Right, I'm going to stop you right there. What do you mean 25% of million? Do you mean property, equity in their property?
Yeah, a lot of that is property, right?
Right, but they're not cash rich, are they? They're not sort of swanning off to Saint-Tropez and Marbella and, you know, filling their boots with expensive cocktails.
You're absolutely right, but I don't think that taxpayer money that is being paid for by hard-working people in this country today should be going to millionaires. I think that's pretty communist, if you ask me. And I think when we're thinking about this from a wider perspective, we already spend more than double the entire budget of the Ministry of Defence on pensions alone. That's ridiculous, it's unsustainable, and the winter fuel payments are just an addition to that.
Reem, I dare you to look like that poor chap in the eye that Patrick is with up north and tell him
probably
you're
already got
taking
some
his
money.
winter fuel allowance. Alexander, your thoughts?
Oh, this is absolutely outrageous. I'm sorry. Reem is absolutely outrageous tonight. Listen, our OAPs and our elderly people in our country have worked hard and have contributed to the country that we have today. They have contributed, in some cases, millions of tax pounds to our coffers. And now, when they need us the most, we're hitting them hard when they really do need us, and they are very hard up. We do have an easy solution to this, though, Ben. We could actually start drilling for oil and gas again and make ourselves energy independent and not have to bail people out with taxes because our energy bills are too high. So there is good capitalist solutions to this, which I'd love to hear more from you on that.
Alex,
I know you agree with me on that. I know.
Look, drill, baby, drill. I'm totally pro that. And
baby frack.
If we increase the supply of energy, prices will come down. That's economics 101. However, we're talking about the current system, which is winter fuel payments, and we know that 25% of pensioners are millionaires. I'm sorry, but taxpayer money,
listen, come on, Reem, you have to dispute that millionaire status thing. I get what you're saying, but they're not all selling up their. Well, they're going to be forced to sell their houses soon for a massive loss.
Why should the government be paying for them?
Alex Cairns, your thoughts?
Actually, the interesting thing is, when you speak to lots of pensioners, right, a lot of them actually have accepted that it was meant to be a temporary thing, right? You know, if we take a step back, it was brought in as a temporary measure. Everyone knows that the state pension is going up. I think everyone is making this very political, but a lot of people are not. I don't like this dramatic thing where if they don't get the £300, suddenly lots of people are going to die. I think it's very it's not true, and it's very...
No, but by Labour's own standards.
It
by
isn't.
Labour's own standards, Alex, come on. Labour's own research showed that people would die this winter.
But that's ridiculous. The idea that them not getting £300 means that they're suddenly just going to drop dead. There's a whole load of factors, and it's not fair for some pensioners. Look, the pension credit, some of the poorest pensioners are still going to get the winter fuel payments, right?
They're not getting winter fuel payments. What they are getting is an increase in the pension uplift. So what they are getting is pension credit. So they're trying to increase the number of people that are on pension credit, which, by the way, ironically, is probably going to cost the Treasury even more money. So the current system is where everybody, no matter how wealthy you are, gets winter fuel payments.
Reem, the issue is that this is saving the government, £1 to £1.5 billion at a time when they're spending £22 billion on carbon capture schemes that even eco-zealots and sceptics alike say is absolute rubbish. They're sending 11 billion pounds in climate aid abroad. They're spending 14 billion in public sector pay rises. For a paltry, in the grand scheme of things, £1.5 billion.
I agree, but two wrongs don't make it right. Two wrongs don't make it right. It's not like going after pensioners, Ben. It's effectively people that are already wealthy should not be getting benefits from tax. By the way, I would get rid of the state pension altogether. I think we should mean...
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness.
No,
come on, Reem, listen, look. We need to look after people. If there people will die this winter, and they will. People will. No, they will. People will die this winter. There are people who are actually not who are not going to get this credit. No, they will. No, they will. When people are going to die, it's imperative the state looks after them in that moment. Okay. We can't just let people freeze to death in their homes.
They can afford it themselves.
Some of them can't, though, Reem. That's the problem. We're going to hear from them tonight.
Okay. Pat's going to...
Guys, but they're not. They're not.
When you talk over each other, people at home, they
apologies to the audience at home.
To be frank, it does their head in. Thank you very much. Reem, Armstrong, Cans, thank you very much.